Our next 30-minute block is all about media measurement and effectiveness. And to kick things off, we have Dom Charles and Monica Majumdar of Wavemaker, who are going to be talking about creativity, media, and measurement. So please put your hands together for Dom and Monica.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Great. Hi, everyone. I'm Monica Majumdar, Head of Strategy at Wavemaker.
And I'm Dom Charles, MD of Audience Intelligence and Marketing Science at Wavemaker. I picked my own job title. It's too long, I know.
And as Sam alluded to, we're going to talk about creativity and media and whether measurement is a help or a hindrance. So I'll start out by saying that at Wavemaker, we are absolutely passionate about delivering and creating unrivaled work that moves people and has a positive impact in the world. So that's about creating work that is creative and innovative, that is founded and grounded in true audience insight and has measurable outcomes, and that it delivers against diverse and inclusive audiences, and is also carbon neutral. What that means is that we're big proponents of creativity, yes, and that has taken many, many different forms. Everything from integrating Chupa Chups into Roblox, creating the world's largest AR slot machine, bringing wax figures to Capital Summertime Balls so people could meet their favorite artists, as well as actually recreating George Orwell's Big Brother for the launch of 1984 right now. But we're also big proponents of effectiveness. We've just been IPA accredited. We've actually created, thanks to Dom, the industry's largest data bank of econometric benchmarks, just so that we can model for different categories and look at effectiveness in media. And actually, we've brought together econometrics and carbon calculators to actually show that you can have an effective plan as well as a carbon conscious plan with the right modeling. And we've called it eco-effectiveness. And considering the fact that we're such big proponents of creativity and effectiveness, we're really perplexed by this notion in the industry that measurement and creativity are at odds with each other, that somehow they'll cancel each other out.
So we wanted to slightly do a bit of myth busting on this because I've been told off for being a killer of creativity because I rock up with my numbers and facts. So a couple of things to kind of bear in mind. The first thing is the truth is that media creativity and creativity in general can be highly effective. So these are just a couple of examples from our clients. There'll be lots of different examples all across the industry. But if you look at campaigns like Nationwide's Together Against Hate, which is about tackling online harms they did a few years ago, or a really big integrated Christmas partnership that Morrison's did, or using Alexa to get people more excited for Fratella around sweets with a campaign called Halloween Hotel. In all of these cases, the ROIs and the paybacks are substantially higher than anything they do, right? They are the best things on their plan, they're the first thing that gets added, and they are incredibly creative ideas as well. However, it is also true to say that not every creative idea works. And that is because not every piece of advertising works, right? So this is a piece of analysis from a ThinkBox study a couple of years ago that looks at the variability of ad payback. So the wider the bar, the bigger the spread of ROI results that come from a given channel. So if you take something like broadcast of VOD, tends to pay back within a narrow window around the average. It will never be spectacular, but it will never be shit. Whereas social media, the potential paybacks are much broader. So and there'll be incredible campaigns in there and ones that are less good. And when you look at more, this is true of more standard advertising, but if you then look at more creative examples and more kind of unique things, this will be true of that, right? Some of them will be great, some of them will be a bust, but it's certainly not universal one way or the other. I should explain the image. This is what you get if you ask an AI to draw you Schrodinger's cat, which is A, a bit creepy, and B, shows a fundamental misunderstanding of Schrodinger's cat, because we can see the cat. So AI is not coming to take our jobs yet, but this was the least bad image I could find for this. But the thing that we sometimes get into is because we're worried about we sometimes get into this weird space because we worry that measurement will kill creativity. We then just decide to not measure anything. And the reality is not measuring the campaign and a campaign that doesn't work seem really similar when you try to get the budget signed off for the next one. And also just not measuring the campaign doesn't change whether it works or not. It just changes your ability to understand that. So measurement doesn't kill the creativity. It helps you understand whether it's in those ones that work or the ones that work less well.
So our positive provocation is that measurement doesn't kill creativity. It actually accelerates it. We just need to make sure we have the right things in place. So firstly, we need to think about how we can de-risk creativity. And the first thing is to make sure that you know your audience. Ideas that are grounded in a solid audience truth, those ideas are the ones that tend to do much better. Make sure you understand a brand's past performance, as well as a past media performance to understand what's worked well, what hasn't worked well, and what you want to experiment and explore further. And understand the key levers of growth for your category. So at Wavemaker, we talk about the purchase journey, and we talk about before someone's in market, in the priming stage, after someone's in market, so the active stage, and what are the levers to really drive growth, whether it's earned or engagement or actually thinking about your in-store presence. Next, we really need to broaden what creativity means, and it's not just the ad film, which is what we keep on hearing. So at Wavemaker, we talk about ways that we can be more creative in media, things like hacking the channel, which is what Samsung did with flipvertising, where they actually played around with the algorithms on video platforms like YouTube to create a scavenger hunt for people to really get excited about the launch of the new flip phone. Then we can think about hacking the moment. So in Argentina, Heineken did that really well, basing their idea in the very salient truth where someone's at the office too late when the office cleaners come around. So they actually turned that into a media placement to nudge people to go to the bar and actually drink a Heineken. And then, of course, we talk about ways that we could hack the behavior. So in the States, Oreos and milk go hand in hand. We tend to go after the biscuit moment. And actually, what happens if you hack the milk moment? And if you look at barcodes and flip them on milk cartons, they look like a stack of Oreos. So what could you do there?
But also it's about how you set yourself up for success in how you prove the value of this stuff. Because ultimately that's the way, if you're looking at brands and envious of the great creative stuff they're able to do, almost certainly it's because they proved the value that that has back to the business, and the business gets behind it because businesses like money. If you prove things make money, they will give you more money to do the cool stuff. So setting yourself up right in the measurement space is really important. So I can't seem to do a presentation without talking about how good marketing mix modeling is. I may have a bias, but marketing mix modeling is the gold standard for proving kind of effectiveness of advertising and proving incremental value. What's really important when you're doing something that's a bit non-standard is collecting the right data around those activations. MMM relies on things like how many people have seen it, how many people have engaged with it, that sort of data set. So making sure that you're collecting that good data of how many people are interacting with my brilliant idea helps feed into those models and then find the value. Equally important is to make sure that you've got lots of leading indicators of what success looks like. So sort of mapping out, if this thing is doing the thing it's supposed to do for the brand, what factors should I see improving? Should I see more people searching for something? Should I see more people talking about us on social media? Things like that. Again, to build confidence that there is something going on when you're running this activation. And also increasingly looking for opportunities to build structured tests. So that could be regional testing, it could be holdout groups, it could be things like that, but ways to kind of pre-test the campaign and get a feel for, is it going to work, refine it a bit before you take it into media. And building those into the campaign is really important.
So what we'll take you through is an example of how we unlocked more creative spaces to play in for our client Colgate. So actually, with all of the modeling that Dom put in place, we actually were able to evolve our media mix. So you can see back in 2019, the plan was dominated by linear TV with a bit of video, not that much social, and experimenting in digital spaces and other spaces. Actually, fast forward a few years to 2022, and you can see that the media mix has very much evolved, where we actually have a nice balance of linear TV and video. We've included more digital. We've actually massively increased social presence and have been more targeted and more considered about the other places we play in, which has actually helped open up a few new creative avenues. For instance, there was an integrated partnership and sponsorship of Married at First Sight on Channel 4. So not only did it have TV items, but actually we managed to have some product placement integration where we had Max White toothpaste sitting on the sinks of all the contestants in that 6-week experiment window. And then on TikTok, we've massively exploded and evolved our TikTok presence, very much hopping into different trends like Get Ready With Me and tapping into key life stage moments and life moments where people want to look their best. And lastly, we've actually looked at expanding the types of partnerships we have. So here we have a really exciting partnership with Change Please, so a charity that looks after the health of homeless individuals in London. And that actually got awarded a bronze at the Cannes Lion because of the multimedia campaign that surrounded it. Not only did we actually have physical buses where we could offer dental health care on the go, but actually focused and heroed the stories of all those individuals that we were helping to show the real difference that something as simple as having dental health care could help with an individual.
So hopefully over the last 10 minutes or so, we've built the case for measurement and creativity being friends rather than enemies. And we can hopefully stop getting invited to talk about how measurement and creativity are enemies of each other. Because actually the unlocker of great creative work is proving the value back to the business, filling the loop. Because also the bit we haven't talked too much about is when you measure what worked last time, you then know how to make that creative idea even better the next time round. So the version 2 of everything that comes through the Colgate example is even more powerful because we've learned what has and hasn't worked in version 1. But 3 takeaways when we're thinking about how we get kind of creative activity that works. The first one is to just start with the audience. We're trying to move people to get them to do things for our clients and for our businesses. So we need to know who we need to, as with any good bit of media planning, something creative, some brilliant new activation needs to start with who we're trying to get to do what thing. We then need to think more broadly about creativity, so not just think about can we produce a brilliant 30-second TVC, but how can we play with different behaviours, different media activations, different uses of data even to kind of show up in different ways to drive those people to do the thing we want them to do, and lean into measurement, right? The more we measure, the more we prove the value of this stuff, the more of it we get to do. If you look at every brilliant idea in the IPA data bank, every Cannes Lion winner, they'll be backed up by brilliant measurement that proves the value of that stuff. And I think that is us. We have managed to point to that in under 12 minutes, so whoever's doing the time checking will be fine. We didn't put a thank you slide in or practice the finish, so we'll just end and say thank you.